good to see everyone here. My name's Matt, if you didn't. Hello, Nat. And here we are with DM Nix, who has uh, life going on in the background. And we are joining together to play some Eolas today again and play our wonderful characters. We have them on the screen here. I am going to be playing as Skewer and Marigold, and DM Nix is going to be playing as Thurball and Peter. We travel north to try to get to uh, Sylvester and help the people out. But we are just on our journey, and we have just weathered a weird spiritual storm kind of dealio, where there were wailing spirits born upon the winds, and they were harrowing us. And this happened after we beat some cultists, and we figure now, after both of these events, that the cultists have established some sort of, I don't know, base nearby, some sort of operation that maybe they're looking to affect change in the area through storms and storm worship or some such thing. We don't know exactly what's involved, but we know it could be dangerous. So we're making our way north a little bit more carefully and considerately with these discoveries. Um, and DMX will be part and parcel of all of this. We joining together to create the world as we go. Um, and yeah. So we are going to maybe focus for a few minutes on the characters and what they're thinking and feeling as we progress north. We will probably be putting up some encounter maps in a little while, but for the moment, while we're getting our technology in order and getting working, we're just going to have this kind of blank red as we're traveling. And while you can't really see it very well, I can like hold up what we have been doing as far as our map goes. So I can zoom in here and see that right to the top of the map there is where we're going, and we're coming from these hills. Got some distance. I always find it hard to show the map because it sort of does the reverse thing. And so I'm pointing in the opposite direction to how I am in real life. So here we're starting here, and we're traveling in a generally northward direction. We're actually following this river here. We're traveling north, following the river that direction. Once we get to, I don't know, somewhere up here, we're gonna leave the river and travel to the west, go around this mountain here. Um, Hills, bottom of the mountain, the foothills, to get to the town that we're journeying toward. But in order to do that, we're following the river. It is now, after the storm and after the wailing has stopped, we gather our materials together. We have had a very good meal, thanks to Marigold's excellent cooking. And so, some of the things that we might experience are going to be a little bit easier for us because we are well fed. And we are traveling along this river, and we can see, because we are coming down from some hills, the lay of the land, and we can see that for at least most of today, um, that we are going to be in relatively open terrain. Um, it's going to have some hills and a couple of trees here and there, maybe some nooks and crannies in land, but probably in a couple of hours travel, we can see off in the distance that there is some forestation going on. And that probably we're going to be having to traverse through through that in order to keep close. And so that is our situation. We're keeping watch by planes, see any spots we're gathering because of cultists that we are against, and our journey generally toward those forests.
What I miss? And I'm sorry.
You're
Of course,
okay.
it has to be today when, all the stuff happens, right?
Yeah. Um, it makes sense. If someone wants to stalk me to the middle of a cornfield where I live, I'm just gonna give them props for the effort when they get here. Just get the shotgun out. You'll be right. But
Lady.
totally original art. Yes, it is totally original art, and this is just the draft. DMX will be generating some more better, digital versions of all of this, but we wanted some sort of representation, a general picture, so that it helps us and we can fill it out and then have more and more details, so that
Yep.
when we do go away and make it, that we have as much as we can to um, do do that. So that's what we're doing. Um, yeah, anything to add here? Do you think that the first few hours of the day here go relatively calmly? Um, Given that we have overcome the wailing
I would think because of
storm
that,
and
yes. Because they're probably the cultists would sit back and reevaluate, be like, oh, so take care of that. What's plan number two? I have 3 kids and 2 dogs, lady.
was 2 kids until very recently.
Yep.
When new one came along and has
Lady's seen the new one today, in fact.
ooh, because that is directly related to a calm morning. Absolutely.
What is a calm morning? What is this foreign
Yeah.
context you speak of?
Yeah. Not sure. But yeah. So it seems like the plains, the open grasslands that we're traversing, are relatively calm. Um, Traveling. Given that there are nearby tribes who have traversed this land, we can see the footfall, we can see the passage of especially the tribe or village from Andir, which was Peter's village. We can see their passage, given that they came from the north towards the south in order to
Mhm.
get here. Assuming that we can still see that. Rain
I would think
super
so, at
hard.
least somewhat.
Yeah, maybe some wagon wheel rivets in the land as by. It seems that their passage is relative, but we know that around like in a couple of hours, or maybe around midday, slightly after, we're gonna get to those forests, that forested area. Um, do we think that this is a fairly small forest? Would this be named, do you think? I know not all forests are named, not all woodland is named. Would they name
I,
this area, do we think?
maybe not.
Is this really
What
just
do you think?
passage? And in relation to this, something that we probably need to answer first is what is the state of roads between all of our villages? How
I
does
think
how
it's
is
more
roads?
paths, like basic roads, right? Because it's not that developed yet.
Hmm. Do we think that the roads would lead to a central location and out from there? Do we think that they are just going to each other for the moment? Um,
Probably mostly to each other, or at least to some other town, right?
yep. So I think, given what we're saying, that there's probably a small town somewhere around the base of the foothills of the mountains that is an
That
intersection between in the paths or roads between Briarbridge and Ander, because
makes sense.
if you look at the map, I hate having everything like hard. Yeah, so we have Ander here, have Briarbridge down here. I think that there would be some sort of path between the two, sort of road. It would probably be better in some locations, worse in some locations. Probably about halfway, or potentially multiple little villages along the way. But I think for now, we don't have to make all of the villages. We can just one. We don't have
Yeah,
to name this just yet, but I think having one here somewhere around the base of the mountains as a because it's kind of like the intersection makes a good deal of sense. And given that there's something there and that there's forests and plains to their south, I think that probably that this village uses both ore from the mountains and uses timber from the local area. And probably they have, like, given these areas names, given that. What do we think about
yeah, that makes sense. That's what we're going with, right? We're creating the stuff as it comes up and be like, okay, that's logical. That's what's needed.
it? Okay. Cool. So, uh, make a couple of small little things. We're gonna make a forest around local area. Sort of make its way. I think that it's probably a forested town, right? Or on the edge of the forest, maybe, where that they can get good access to wood. I'm just drawing this, like getting us some sort of
Yeah, you're good.
representation.
Thank you for that. I'm, as I said, dealing with being one armed, so it's making things a little bit more tricky.
Right. So I'll just draw a little forest in here.
Yeah, I'm glad I caught that. You goose.
Yeah. And so given that the forest that we're going to be approaching potentially isn't named because we're not quite at the one that is named yet. Maybe this one that we're coming up to is like,
And we
uh,
can always do placeholder name as well. Just say town 2 for now, if we need.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. We're not too
or
concerned
support town, and
about
then we can come up with the name of it later.
specific.
Because, like we said, this is a setting we're developing. It doesn't exist. We are creating it and building it right now.
We're going to travel until about lunchtime, and before we enter into this forest, which isn't the forest near the town that we're going to be hopefully making our way to um, by the end of today, it's a smaller forest, and we know it's going to probably take a couple of hours to get through. But we know that we're going to be keeping to the river mostly, and that will help guide our path.
Well, as people who've studied any sort of historic stuff know, rivers or brooks or waterways of any sort were the first route used for passages.
Right?
So it makes complete sense that that would be where their first ones were, because it's already more cleared next to the water than not.
Okay.
So,
Makes sense to me. I think that we're crossing the river, DM,
yep.
for this
Mhm.
section. I think we're crossing the river.
Uh-oh. That'll be fun.
Yeah. We know it's not yet at this point of the river. It's not huge. So here we are, guys.
Right.
This
It depends on how
is
close it is to the mountains. The
is
closer to
kind
the
of
mountains, the more narrow it is, the faster moving.
our situation here. Okay. So we've got this town, which we're going to represent over here, which is in the kind of on the outskirts of this larger forest. And
Mhm.
then between, we are just coming into, sorry, as I try and figure out which way is up and down,
Right.
we are actually just coming into this one. And I think that there's probably, on the edge of this forest, there's probably a bridge down here. Comes across, crosses over to this side, and travels to get to Ander.
Either a bridge or a ford, absolutely. Has to be some crossing if the people are going to be using it for that town,
And make
which
a bridge.
they would want to be able to.
And we're going to have the path up to Ander. Um,
You're loud.
so, what I might do, because we've got rivers and we don't have colors right now, I'm going to make the path staggered, dotted. So, to differentiate that it's a path rather than. From Ander, it would come this way, around the foothills forest, that town this way. Yeah, and we don't need too many more details than that. We are coming through this forest down here, uh, and we're crossing either a ford or a bridge. Do we want to make it one or the other? Maybe there is a
We're gonna
tax, or
chat.
maybe there's something. Yeah, maybe there's something
Do you
interesting here.
prefer it being more interesting as a natural ford or a bridge? If it's a bridge, it's a weak point for, attack or damage or weather, right? Where if it's a ford, it is in threat for weather because rising water would mean you then can't ford it. So then we would need to determine, has there been, current rains to make it unpassable or not?
We'll see if chat has anything to say. Otherwise, we will establish it ourselves. But good interaction is fun. We enjoy to hear what chat thinks.
Exactly. Exactly. So
Um,
I was like, bring them in.
yeah, absolutely. So, anyone on my chat or anyone on DM Nix's chat, if you have any ideas as to whether you would like there to be a ford or a bridge, whether you would like there to be a toll
Hey,
or something interesting, then oh. Yeah, so that's looking a little nicer.
Yeah. So I'm gonna delete the other one. Right? We're very talkative. Yes, we are, aren't we, little miss? Uh-huh. Actually, I'm trying to get a recording of her making her little dialogue to be a sound redeem. It's going to be
Nice.
an expensive one because it's going to be a long one.
Okay. Cool.
It's going to be like 30 seconds to a minute long of her being like,
What's hilarious is as they get slightly older and they start doing the
yep,
to the tired stage.
yep, that's kind of where she's, and it's just like, you're a bit early for that. She
That's
don't
great.
care.
That's great for language development. So encourage that.
Mhm. Oh, I mean, you can't really stop it, but yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's not exactly expected.
Right. Um.
The grass map is there now.
Okay. So we haven't really had anyone just chatting at the moment. That's totally
Nope.
fine. All right.
Yep.
So
What do you think? Which one
I think
sounds
something
more?
should be here, right? Whether it's a ford or a bridge, I think here are the situations. Whether it's a ford or a bridge, I don't think it's rained enough for there to be an issue with crossing the water right now.
Okay.
I think we have had some rain, but I don't think it's enough to have it be flooding. Um, either way, but I think that there should be something here, potentially a hazard, potentially an encounter, even if it's not a combat encounter. People that we're seeing doing stuff, maybe it's
Well, we
local
don't know if
wildlife.
they are. Yeah, it could either be wildlife or it could be people. The people could actually be from town, and we not know if they're part of the cult or not. So we don't know if they're part of the cult. We don't even know who the cult is exactly, right?
Yep.
Like us as GMs determine that it's going to be the cult of the Eternal Frost, but the characters don't know that. They know they're a cultist group of some sort doing things, but who and what is not necessarily known.
Yeah, do we think that we've heard of them before?
Well, why don't you roll what would you call it? Religion or occultism?
I think it's probably a
What do you use for
religion.
cultists?
It's probably a religion check.
Okay.
Occultism is like weird ass, crazy, extraterrestrial things. Religion is all things that are belief systems and stuff like that. I think that explains it better. Yes,
Okay.
I'm going to
Let's do it.
roll to see. Religion. Roll. Boom. Okay, so we have a 12 over there. And Skewer has, who is not trained in religious ways, has no idea whatsoever. He's like, I think they're people, and they probably believe something.
Did he crit fail or just fail?
Well, he got a 4. At this level, yes, that's a crit fail. He's like, oh, I'm pretty sure they probably. Uh,
Hey, thanks, lady.
really appreciate it, lady. They probably are some sort of demon worshipping folk, right? Like if they like the storm and the lightning, they probably like demons, and they're probably like
They're all about the lava and the explosions and the fire, right? Do the reverse.
so I think they're probably got like ritualistic carvings on them. They're probably like, human sacrifice. Who knows what? All of this being completely just made up. Wow, we're rolling super well. Okay, so Peter might have. Okay, so here's an interesting narrative moment. Maybe
Oh,
these folk come from the mountains because Peter seems to maybe know
I
a little
think
bit
he's had
more.
runnings in with them then, because maybe they don't like what they're doing up there, and they're like, "This is our territory," and so they have had some dealings. So he might be like, "Yeah, they're the cult of eternal frost. They're all about winter and bad weather and problems, and they're very, very unpleasant folk."
Okay, so we're saying somewhere in the mountains, near but not too close to Ander, the cultists uh, of Eternal Frost are more active and doing things that Ander's people are disagreeing with and affected negatively by potentially. So far, DM with the baby is the most entertaining part of this. Well, that's an indictment on on our storytelling here, but that's okay. Um, cool. All good. And you don't have to apologize as long as it can be somewhat entertaining for you. It's all good. Okay, and so Peter is able to tell us a little bit about what they have been doing in the mountains and let us know that they're kind of nuisances to Ander and the surrounding districts, their areas. Rest of us have not heard of them,
All right.
haven't really encountered them.
I'm sorry. I need to try to figure out why she won't quit screaming at me. So you can keep talking about the stuff and just throw me in when I get back. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. What I'm gonna do is I'll
Ay,
start to
ay, ay, this
generate
night.
some encounter stuff and get some action. Yeah, so we'll do this together. We're going to have some things going on at the crossing here. Um, Basically, to the south of this river, as the characters are arriving towards the forest, there is a crossing, whether it be a ford or a bridge. We haven't determined, but what we know is that it crosses over to the other side, to the eastern side of the river, and there is a road or track that leads to the north, following the river on the other side, on the eastern side of the river. So that's why we've crossed, because journeying along the road is much safer and easier. And so that is where we're at. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to dashboard over here. And we're going to generate a little wilderness encounter that's going to happen. It doesn't necessarily have to involve fighting, but we're going to make a little encounter so that when DM Nix is back and has solved his uh, issues over there, that we might be able to actually have uh, some engagement, more of a structured play over there, and so that's what we're doing. So I'm going to head over to Pathfinder dashboard over here, version 2 by Ashley Henrik, who has been developing this tool for GMs as alike. And we're going to be putting animal into this, and I'm going to be having a look at the animals that are nearby, and I think maybe having something either amphibious or maybe feeding off the river or something like that happening in the area might be a good thing. So that's what I'm looking at. Venomous creatures, maybe. Look at what we have. So we have too low for mountain goats at the moment. Moose. Riding pony. Sea snake. Sea snakes could be interesting. Stone. Okay. We have a rare encounter here, which would be an abyssal bunny swarm. Okay, yeah, no, we're not going to be doing that. Alchemy. I like this idea. I like this idea a lot. Okay. Because that can actually inform the story. Alright, let's do it. Do this. We're going to have a couple of these. We would make it. So I'm only going to do 2. So we're going to do 2 of these. I think we'll do a hazard as well. Because I like that maybe like it's muddy. I'm gonna see if I can find something that looks like mud. Maybe sodden floor, something like that. Give way, take damage prone. Not exactly what I'm looking for. Stable pits isn't exactly what I'm looking for. Having a look for something that feels a little bit like mud. We're just going to be looking here. That. And then we can these things in place. Up. Mud. Minor immersion. That's possible. Fog mud. Yes. That's what it's going to be. Get rid of the. Alright. We're going to make it a weak quality. Alright, so what we're going to do. No such thing as structure when you're a parent. It's that thing you're always trying to achieve, but there's throw up, or the dog runs past. Any number of things can happen. Yeah. And look, real life comes first. Do chat. Now you both get the viewer. Really appreciate it. Thank you. And DM next will be back soon. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be popping over here. And we are going to be making a quagmire. That's a quagmire. Okay. Quagmire. Here. Okay, so there it is. Obviously, we're going to be doing this maybe on a slightly different map. It's going to see if we have the grass loaded. Yes, we do. Okay, so I'm going to pull that over to the other map. We're going to pull all of these tokens, in fact, to the other. And we're going to make this happen. Alright, so we're going to have... What we'll do is we'll have this area here be where we're at. We're going to paste our people down. We're going to pop quagmire here. Have our people be a little bit closer to me. We're going to populate this with trees and such soon, and we're going to put some water flowing through here in a minute. We'll get to that, but just bear with us as we're putting this down. And the next thing we're going to do is make some forged. So we're going to have this. I have 2 of those. On either side of the mud. Alright. And then that's looking good. Getting there. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go, if I remember how to do this. File control. File browser. Going to go here into these maps. We're going to look at trees. Going to on platform on. I like this one. Yeah, really good. That is so good. Alright, so I'm going to make a couple of those. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag this down and sort of broader. This. Go. Awesome. And then we're going to have some trees. So again, we're going to look here for trees. Hey Dragon playing Worm, how's it going? See you. And I think we're gonna do these trees, some of those trees, populate the map with a couple of these, and we'll spread them out and we'll make some variants happen. To have some slightly different colors going on. It's coming towards winter, so I don't think we've got pink. Some of these types as we're in the middle of summer. Not summer. We're coming up towards winter. It's a couple of months away. I think that's probably enough. We're just gonna like spread some of these out. Pop some on either side of this river, like this. Populating situation. We're gonna copy this one. Pop another one down here.
Right. I am sorry with how things have gone.
Okay, it is what it is. All right, so
Oh,
you will notice that I have been creating us a little encounter map.
I see that. Nice.
Okay, and so I'm gonna define what all of these areas are here in just a moment. Just gonna create it, and we'll go from there. Um,
Yes, lady. Screaming and fussing is very comforting.
All right, like we don't need to get too much more complicated than this. Okay, so what we have,
Good.
DM, is we have a river. And what we're saying is that this area that we've come to is a natural ford, and we're gonna move off that layer, and
Yeah, so like right here.
yeah, and
It's
I'm
natural
actually
40.
gonna be making a bit more of stretch this one out. See, that's okay. Right. Okay, so we're gonna say that this crossing is a little muddy at the moment. It's not too hard to cross, but it's a little muddy. Okay, so I'm just
Mm-hmm.
these quagmire. It's just going to be one quagmire, but I'm going to represent the area that the quagmire's in. Okay, just by
Mm-hmm.
making a little band across the river here. And what
Yep.
we don't know at the moment, what we're going to represent here, because these are going to be hidden, because they're underwater. Here we go. Is that there might be some baddies, some creatures that are lurking in the waters. These are natural creatures, but they have been affected by something that's come down the river, DM. Something has
Mm.
come down the river, and you can see with their name that they have become alchemy gorged. So some sort of, I don't know, mixture of some description, pollution perhaps, has come down the
There's
river.
probably the cultists up the river messing around and,
We
you know,
could we
dump their
could
waste in.
say that it could be something completely
It might not
unrelated,
be. But yep.
but they are in the water, which our characters don't know about. They know that, and they can see that this area is pretty safe for crossing. It's better than the rest. We're going to say that the rest of the river going north looks to be running a bit faster, maybe a little bit broader section, and looks a little bit more dangerous, and that this looks like the safest place to cross, and indeed is where the tracks and path lead. So there's a little bit of a path, and what I might do just to represent that, because it helps represent that, is we can draw something that goes like this. This can be our path. It's a beautiful, well manicured road here. Look how gorgeous that is. Um, yeah, that's our situation. Watching these guys and thinking probably eat soon. Oh, any worthwhile eating? You're tired but good, Dragon Playing Worm. It's good to hear that you're good. Alright, so what are our characters thinking, feeling, doing as they are approaching this crossing? I cannot hear you, DM.
I just realized I was muted. That's why. I've said a number of things to you. No wonder you didn't respond. I
Sorry.
meant to say food is good, not good as good. I can't type right. Lady, it wasn't very comforting or restful. It was very screaming and stressful. Thank you for keeping up with that, Matt. I'm sorry about the chaos tonight. And yeah,
All good?
that's where I was at. Peter probably is thinking, based on the cultists, that he's probably thinking that the cultists, he's wondering why they would be active in this area. They're supposed to be elsewhere, right? So he's like, what's going on? Why would they be here? Aren't they supposed to be in the other area? This does not bode well.
Yep.
And Third Ball's just thinking, I want to go home to my nice spices and good food and pillows. I do not like this place. It's too cold and uncomfortable. I'd rather sleep in the sun. What about Marigold and Skewer?
Um, Marigold, as she makes her way, is probably keeping her eye out for these cultists, but given that we were able to quell the storm, she is wondering just what is going on and why her patron might be leading her, where her patron might be leading her, why her patron might be leading her, what is going on. She is following Visa and she has faith in a way, but she didn't. She's 77. Uh, this trek north is something that she wasn't expecting. Skewer is keeping his eye uh, on the tree cover nearby. He claps Peter often on the shoulder and he's like, "You're doing a good job looking to the south, and I'm doing a decent job looking to the north, just in case there's something that might happen."
Should always keep eyes out. You never know when there'll be an accident at the forge. Well, we're not at the forge, but the same thought remains.
Well, dearie, it does look like we're coming to a ford in the river. We've travelled a little bit of the way up, and you saw further down that it was a little bit too dangerous. And it seems like this area with the road leading up, all of that, like that this might be where everyone else has passed. Is this where you crossed before, Peter? Did you experience anything that we should know about as you were crossing?
When I came, it was no problem, but different seasons bring different things. We should stay vigilant because you never know.
Yes, we did have some rain overnight, and those storms might have, I don't know, dislodged some things. So yes, being careful is probably the right idea, dearie.
Would be nice if we had wagon to sit in, yes? Instead of all this walking.
And I suppose that you would pull it, would you?
No, you have beasts for that. Or maybe Peter.
Hey,
Well, if you're not willing to pull it yourself, or at least take turns, I think you best keep your mind to your own business.
all right.
How much wood did
Uh,
you collect last night, Thurball, for your beautiful fire?
I collected what I could, We all did our parts, no? We all did our parts.
Right, you are.
You just did a little part, not a big.
Indeed. So Skewer, I think, is going to approach. He is going to be looking to like, going to sort of seek in these upper areas, making sure that there's nothing like um, uh, preventing us from being able to cross, keeping a good side out. And he would suggest
Yeah,
that Peter does the same for the
you're just
south.
probably doing similar down here just to make sure that, you know, are there signs of dislodging stones or anything like that?
Okay, so let's make perception checks.
Yes. Bring all the perception. You should stay very vigilant while I relax back here.
Uh, Neither of these guys. They're both looking for threats, which don't exist. It's a nice day. There's no one out lurking in the shadows. There's no cultists, lurking to come out at us, and that's what they're looking for. And so they don't recognize what's going on. Um, they can see that, and Peter has experienced this because he's crossed the river before, this ford before, that it was a little muddy the last time, but it didn't slow them down really. It was more just a casual thing. But given that it has rained overnight, we do we do have enough intelligence to know that with rain comes a little extra liquid, and potentially this mud might be a little more clingy. So we know that that could be the case, but we don't see any threat. So Skewer will come up um, to the river, and he'll be like, "Right, well, Peter, if you don't mind, you can just wait by that tree there, maybe tie off a piece of rope, and if I do happen to slip in, just throw me the rope, and we can make sure that we don't get swept down. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but
Do
if we get stuck or
you
something,
want to tie a rope on self and I hold?
all right, well that can work too. So he ties off some rope and he throws it to Peter, and he starts to make
I
his
was
way.
told they weigh as much as 3. So I stand here firm and be 3 for you.
So as he makes his way, we he has to make an athletics check, which I will pop up into the chat. And we have to
This is not metagaming.
you have to actually start an encounter with this because of all of the situations. We're just gonna have one quagmire to represent, even though we've got 4 to just show where they are, but we're just gonna add 1. So that's gonna be populated. So that's gonna be there. All of us are going to be in the initiative here,
Except for a bird.
except for Bird, who is part of Marigold's
Yep.
character.
Do we want to add the leeches in?
Yes.
Just knowing that they will be.
Yeah, because it helps to narrate the situation.
Yep.
Very good. Wow.
There we go.
Wow. Okay. So apparently these leeches are very fast. My lord. Alright, so Skewer.
Well, at least they're probably going to wait for attack of opportunity. Wait till their target's there instead of revealing themselves immediately. Or do you think they would immediately jump?
I think what we're gonna do is that right now, let's say that these 2 turns that are gonna happen, let's say that that's them coming up to like right close by, like this kind of close, the edges of the yep, and that they're lying in wait. Let's say that they've prepared an action if something moves like up to them to try and leech on. I think that that makes a good deal of sense and has them go because how I want to start this is Skewer making the check against the athletics for the purposes. Oh, well, he's not affected because we're not up to the quagmire. So he's going to have moved. He's moving once down into here. And he's making his way. He's like, oh, guys, it is a little bit sticky. We'll just have to watch out of that. And because is there a reaction of this hazard? No. Okay, so on its turn, it will try and suck him down. Well, I think for efficacy, he is going to make his way with his second action here. And you can employ the attack there from that one, if you like. He doesn't know, in this case, that that is there. I'm going to make him flat-footed, or off guard, rather, to this attack.
Okay.
Because it is hidden. Making his way slowly but surely. And this is difficult terrain, by the way, this whole journey.
Disable is survival. You have to do athletics. Did you do your athletics check yet or not?
So the quagmire hasn't had its turn to pull him down
One
yet.
action. Okay.
So when that routine happens, it will pull him down, and then after that, he gets his to do his stuff.
Trigger a smaller, larger creature walk into the crash effects. Okay. So it just does it. It doesn't have an attack. It just says it does it.
On its initiative, it
Since the
pulls
quagmire
each
to its
creature
waist.
down. Yeah.
Yep. And so then they have to do the
Yeah. So it hasn't had its action
athletics check.
yet.
Okay.
But you
Put that close to
can use the giant leech who has prepared an action. It's a single action, any to attack Skewer who has moved close
Oh,
enough to.
you're right. Oh, I forgot about that one. I was looking at the other. So, I believe probably the mouth attack, their one attack, would be what you'd use. Do you want
Wow.
to spend an action to grapple? Yes, I do, but I can't.
So it becomes visible, and you are doing damage because my armor class is nowhere near 24. In fact, that's nearly a critical hit because I'm off guard, so that's lucky.
15. Yep. All right. Ready?
Oof.
Don't die.
So we're
Ooh.
gonna do some damage. Skewer,
The dice are not nice to us, sir.
who has one action left. He's like, "Whoa! What was that?" And he hasn't got his weapon out because why would he? So, with his action, he is gonna draw
This
his
final action,
pike.
he's gonna mess his pants.
Yeah, because there's no way, like, he's crossing a river. You would not have your pike in your hand as you're trying to cross a
Oh,
river.
no. I agree. I agree. I'm just saying, like, final action mess pants.
And then Marigold has the next turn. She obviously sees that something's going on. Like, oh dearie, that looks nasty. And
Did you see the leap worms in Dragon's Dogma?
keep worms?
They're basically like these like worms that just had the front was a mouth. Like the whole front of them was a mouth. That's what I'm thinking of with these things. And it just like jumped at you out of the dark. And it wasn't very big, but it just comes leaping at your face, and you're like, yeah.
Alright, so she is going to cast Protect a Tree.
Mm.
And medium tree grows. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna copy one of the ones that we've already populated.
Actually, I'm going to create an actor for this
Okay, sure, you go ahead.
because we'll be using it, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, why don't we just make one?
And she will do it like here, I guess. To yeah.
I'm just going to call it a familiar for now. Oh, change the size.
It's a medium tree. It has an armor class of 10 and 10 hit points. He's like, stay in the cover of the tree, dearie. It'll protect you. That is her turn because she moved and she cast a 2-action spell. Peter?
Guess. He has to be closer than I thought.
Looking at you makes me need coffee. Wow.
She was saying because I'm tired and just dealt with all the screaming, and I'm just look like I'm beat because I'm dealt with all the screaming.
Yeah. Fair enough.
She's not wrong. Wish she was wrong, but she's not wrong. Where's there's tree? Do you want it to have foliage or not have foliage?
Um, let's have it be one that either has a color or it is slightly different, so that we can distinguish. Maybe it's a pink one or an orange one, or
Yep. I gave you a pink one. I figured that fits for marigold. And, fay tree.
yeah. Because then it's just like it. We know that
Yep.
that one is always going to be.
All right. You can move it wherever you want. I didn't
It's a little too large.
but it's too large. I thought you said it was large.
No, medium tree.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was my bad. I'll fix it.
It's going to be. All right, protect tree. Um, excellent. So it is Peter's turn.
I'm going to probably cast armor, and from there, probably, I don't know. Armor is probably the first thing we need to do, because armor.
Yep. Now, before you do your armor, remember
You got to do the other one. Yep.
have to channel
Yep.
your
You got to activate it.
elements. Doesn't matter that they're slightly in the wrong order on the chat. We're not worrying about that, but just so that we're doing things right.
Channel elements.
Channel elements happens first.
Yep. Wait, did it? Oh, it put it on a lot. I didn't realize it had done it. Okay. So channel elements and then armored in earth, which we put in here. So he's going to now be, he's going to wear it as armor. So now he has his AC. So that was his 3 actions. Because channel takes 1. So first round of combat is slamming his fist together and rock coming up around him and clinging to his body.
Yeah. So channel elements is 1. Armor in earth is 1. We'd have 1 left.
No, armor in earth is 2, isn't it?
Literally says 1 action.
Oh, it's 1. I was wrong. Then yeah, no, you're right. I'm wrong. That is 45 foot away, so he can't quite make that.
It's difficult terrain. As soon as he steps inside, like here, it will start to be 10 feet per something. But he can probably make it to that rock, and then
Yep.
starts to be difficult terrain from there.
Yep, I think that's probably where he's going to go to, so he can be within reach to blast him next.
All right, sounds good. And then we have Thurball.
Careful, skewer. Oh, this is disgusting. So probably first would be to draw bow. And then he, I believe, is within 60. Yep. So he's probably just going to loose some arrows and be like, I'll shoot this thing. I do not want to get that close. I do not like to fight these things. I would rather stay at a distance. You know what I mean? Miss.
Damn.
Yep. That's what happens when you get a bad roll. So he'll lose one more and hope to roll better than that, but Nope.
Nope. You
I
can't
do not
roll.
know if I can shoot them in the water. Can you bring them on land?
Possibly.
I do
Let's
not want
find
to
out.
get my fur wet.
All right, so Quagmire
There's a
now
paper
is
trail.
going to take its action, and the Quagmire will pull each creature toward the center of the Quagmire, which we're going to say is the center of the river. Okay, so
Yep.
we know it's there somewhere. So towards that, um, and it's going down as well. So we're gonna go. We're gonna go. Well, it'll tell us anyway. A creature in the quagmire can attempt athletics checks to um,
There you
get out, but both Peter and Skewer are now up to their knees in the quagmire. So it's going to go knees, waist, chest, neck, something like that. Knees, waist, neck,
Yep.
something there. Probably a good measure. All right. And that's done. There's no damage from that. It's just literally pulling us down and making it harder, which means we have to take actions to move. An action to escape effectively or move through it. Not just move. We can't just move. All right, and with that, we go to these gorged leeches, who are now gonna both become visible. And are you happy to take control of them? Do you want me to take control of one? How do you want to do it?
Sorry, I wasn't trying to ignore you. I just felt like I was going to sneeze again, and I didn't want to, you know, sneeze right into your eardrums. Either way.
Well, why don't you take the one to the south, the one that
Okay.
is? I'll take the one.
No, Dime isn't. He wishes he was. He was dealing with sneezing and didn't want to blow everyone's eardrums because he's not that mean.
Your one's turn now. Its prepared action didn't
Yep.
go off because someone didn't come within range.
Nope.
So where is it going?
Closest would be straight up
Yep.
by 5 foot.
Yep. What? It's a mindless. Well, let's see. Yeah, mindless. Effectively, it's -5 intelligence. So yeah, closest enemy, closest food.
I feel bad though because I don't want Skewer to die.
It is what it is, man. We have healing, so
Yep, that's absolutely what we're gonna need to do.
so you target Skewer.
Don't.
All right. So
Okay,
what
Skewer.
happens? What happens is that the protector tree will interpose its branches and take 9 hit points of damage. And
And
Skewer
that takes 9
takes
off
none.
what you take. Oh, it takes none. Nice. So the tree moves back and the leech is like trying to hold on to it.
Completely
But it failed.
interposed itself.
That is really good. I didn't realize it's complete.
Yeah, so
Wow.
says it's got 10 hit points
No. I
whenever
hear you. I
tree
just.
interposes its branches and takes the damage first. Any additional damage beyond what it takes to reduce the tree to 0 is dealt to the original target. But because because the tree has 10 hit points, it didn't go over the tree's hit points, which means the tree takes it all.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
This is why I took the spell. Because effectively it's healing, but in reverse.
Yep. You just prevent taking the damage.
Right? And so the Alchemy Gorge Leech has moved and it has made a single attack.
It
Anything
actually
else?
tried to do the grapple, but it failed because it was on the tree.
Ah, there you go.
Well,
All right, then I will take control
because
of
that takes an action to do the grab.
the other one and target Skewer with the other one. We will try to strike. Oh, that will not hit
Hey.
Skewer. And so it will try a second time. And
Oof.
yes, we want to spend our last action trying to grapple. And what's going to happen is
No.
that we're going to do some damage. And one of that damage gets done to the tree, which gets taken off. But I'm just going to set it to 0 at this stage. Set it as invisible so that we can pick it up and take it. And I'm going to take 5 hit points off Skewer. And he is grabbed. Grabbed. Sweet. That's both of their turns, and it's Skewer's turn. Not doing so hot. Like, this hurts. He is going to spend his first action trying to escape. Because he does not want to be grabbed by a giant leech. So we're going to go into here and we're going to do athletics to try and escape.
Get it? No.
So let's have a look. I think that is not going to suffice.
What's the DC against? Trying to remember grab, and after the night I've had, my brain's not working as well. I am sorry.
Oh, no, you're okay. All right, how this works. Escape. Attempt to escape from being grabbed. DC of the athletics of the creature,
The athletics DC? Okay.
which is 6. So it'll be 16 that we're versing. And we got only 13 because we rolled stupid low.
Yep.
So I'm thinking
Tries to shove it off him and it doesn't quite work.
yeah, he's
So,
like, oh, this
get off
thing's
me.
holding on. He will try to hit it now. Like, maybe if I hit it, it will get off. He's going to try. It's pretty good. Damage. Roll. 6 damage to it. That one. Damage. That's his second action. He's got one final action. Can't move because he's grabbed. And he would have done snagging strike too. Means that that creature is off guard. So he's done snagging strike as this. I'll have to remember that for the future, but for now, what it is. So it's an action. Have a fan free. Your target is within reach. You combine an attack with a quick grappling move that throws an enemy off balance. You make a strike, which is what I've done. If I hit, the target is off guard until the start of Skewer's next turn, or until it's no longer within reach of his hand. That's a single action there. He is then going to try, with his final action, to pass a flat DC to see if he can apply battle medicine to himself. But he has to pass a flat D20 check because that is a manipulate action.
Mhm.
He
Come
does,
on, Skewer. There you go.
and then he has to make the medicine check
Mm-hmm.
as well. Nope. Okay. So he cannot apply battle medicine to himself. Too distracted. Marigold is going to have her turn. With Protector Tree down, she is going to try and hurt these things. As the tree next to Skewer decomposes, he's going to cast Timber. The skin here is the tree falling over that she created.
I like it. I like it. That's awesome.
And the can you do this for me? Can you have the one to the north there make me that reflex save for me?
Yep. I just wanted to make sure I knew which one you wanted me to have do it first. Save reflex.
Oh yeah! So can you roll critical damage there? That's 4d4s. Sir.
Why don't you roll it since it was yours? You can enjoy getting to roll the damage for Marigold.
Gonna roll. And
so her protector tree dies and just falls over and
we're gonna do this twice, basically.
We could just do double damage on it.
Oh well,
if you want, or do you want to roll twice?
Oops.
Nope. No.
Roll.
Do you want me to do double damage? Or you want to roll twice?
Technically, we have to do it this way, and that's better anyway. So it's gonna take 11 damage from the tree falling over onto it. That's amazing. And keep in mind that it would have even been better if the situation had been better, because that's not a single target spell. That is a multiple target spell. So all targets in the line would take it. But in this case, because Skewer is in the line, she doesn't want to do that. And so she just does it against that one. And And yeah, that's
Because why
amazing,
kill your friend?
right? Doesn't make any sense to do that. And so she has not moved. She's cast that one spell. She is going to command a familiar with her second action. 2, 3, 4, 5. Who can just fly. After. Actually, I'll get it to fly here and then hover because otherwise it'll fall.
Why would it fall?
Because fly requires you to hover. Oh no, you can just fly as long as you have flown once. Yeah, okay.
I was going to say, I thought that's how it was supposed to work, but I mean,
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah. All right. So it can be. We'll do. I'm gonna aid Peter.
okay.
Okay. So it prepares to aid Peter. Have a bird helping you.
Excellent.
Roofing. So if you do an action while adjacent to the bird, it will be able to assist you with it. If you move away,
Oh, I will.
unfortunately, it won't be able to.
They're within range for what's coming. So, that being said, Peter wants to deal with the one that's currently gripping his friend first. And he's like, "Get off my friend!" and launches his fist forward, and a bunch of shards go flying off. Let's see. Do we want metal, piercing, slashing, or do we want earth, bludgeoning, or piercing? So he can do bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage, whatever the case needed. I think in this case, or
What?
bludgeoning, yeah, piercing or slashing. I think slashing makes sense. He's just going to lob it off. Have like a metal blade go. Give me a second. Brain.
So it's impulse attack, melee unranged impulse attack against the AC.
Jeez. So I was just getting it put where I can do it. So he is going to punch it. And please. Oh,
That was for my aid.
okay. Did aid do anything?
No.
Or do you have to get. Okay. I was like, you have to get 15 or 17, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But you
15.
hit
Okay.
anyway.
Yep. Which is important. I don't see it saying the type of damage, but whatever.
6.
Oh. Oh, it says piercing, but I was going slashing. It don't matter.
Boom.
6 damage. Hey,
Yeah.
Skewer, you know what? You're not grappled anymore,
I am
friend.
certainly not grappled anymore.
So as Skewer's, dealing with this thing, this metal blade comes flying out of the air out of nowhere and just chops the whole back end off. So the mouth of the leech is just sitting there like loosely limp, sitting on him. And he just like flicks it off.
Oh, thank you, Fred.
No one hurts my friends. It is not okay. Point at the other one and have rocks drop on its head.
Yes.
Still, I mean, it's not bad damage, just not as much.
So I'm before we go through.
Yep.
Did you take your multiple attack penalty?
I did. I
You did?
did. I
Then
think
yes,
so.
that happens.
I was pretty sure I clicked the right thing.
Okay, that's fine. As long as you did it, we're all good. Excellent. Very, very, very good.
If I didn't, but I thought I clicked the right thing.
Oh no, that's correct.
Okay. I'm a little
Ex-
dazed, so if I do something off, forgive me.
All right. Very, very good.
Final action. Oh, that's 2. I'll do that one later.
Does is it the rock that like explodes and catapults into this thing? Is that this kind of this
Yeah.
bludgeoning damage?
Yeah, a rock lands on him. And then why not? We'll go ahead and go back to the blades and just. He didn't really have much else he can do, so we'll just try. Probably going to miss, but you never know. Yep.
Very difficult for that to work.
Yeah, I don't have really any other options. I mean, don't I have to be adjacent to aid and stuff?
So what? Yeah. Given that you have difficult terrain, you could have potentially attempted to leap so that you might have been able to get to be flanking.
Yeah.
That's probably the other like moving potentially thing. But either way, third ball.
Should have done that. I am very much willing to take your advice on things since I'm fully alert tonight. Hey,
It's good.
if you want to have him take
Ooh.
that damage.
Oh. Thunk. Oh, and
Hey,
again.
just barely.
Thunk.
And then he's going to try to hide behind Peter being there. You think that should be allowed, or does he have to be right up next to him?
I mean, he can move there. He can't hide.
Okay. He'll move up behind Peter.
Awesome.
And then he'll try to hide next to her. Should have done hiding, but
Quagmire.
it's all right.
So the Quagmire is going to sink Skewer even further. He's going to be up to his waist now. And Peter also, because Peter hasn't moved. So both of them are going to be up to their waist. And that is that. So we go to the last leech, who has taken a bunch of damage. Do see a leading target. I'll put inverted commas because he's not technically got persistent damage, but he's currently on less than healthy life.
Well, that's why I didn't have Peter do something else, because he's wanting to get his friend out of there, not just
Yeah. So do
take
you want
care of
to
himself.
take care of that leech for us and do something for it with it?
Sure.
probably.
Kind of shakes its head as it had a rock fall on it, and then tries to leap at Skewer again, I think.
Yep.
Since they're mindless beasts.
Get hungry.
So...
Oh boy. Yep. I'll be critical
Critical.
damage.
And then it failed to latch on, though.
Alright, well, I'll do the crit. Please. Love that for us.
Sorry.
Alright, so we go bloop. Well, he ain't dead. We know that. It says dead. He is dying 2, because that's a critical hit.
No.
Not the best. Alright. And I think is that its turn? Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, fun. Well, Skewer. I could spend a hero point to be stable. How do you want to roll? Because I think that this is more a you question than me. Do you want to do Pathfinder's normal hero point stabilization rules, or do you want to do what we've been doing a home game where we set hero point sets us at 1?
I'm good with that.
So I'm going to spend my hero point. We are going to remove the dying condition, but give him wounded 1. He is able to act on 1 hit point as a surge of energy comes back. He is grabbed. And he is... he's not in a good position either way. He will try to escape. Oh. So he is no longer grabbed by the creature. He is going to swim. Yes! Stonkin. He's doing it.
Because it was DC 17, so you got up 2 levels. You're back up.
I am. Which means I can move. And I'm going to. Gonna be moving. To the
Attack
other
of opportunity.
side.
Oh, wait, we're not playing that other version.
Yeah. No attacks of opportunity. And he's got plenty of movement because he's an elf. He's gonna move all the way over there. Nearly getting across, even with difficult terrain.
Yep, it's awesome.
Marigold. Only one of them left. He is going to have the wind winding up. Actually, she's gonna command Visa to come here and aid. Yeah, aid this because this is an attack. So she's gonna target that one. Oh yeah, she does not need the help. Oh, if Visa succeeds, that'll be a critical hit. Let's see. So Visa just needs a 15. It's really hard to get because it doesn't have the feature. Oh! All right. All right. That is unbelievable. I think the patron is watching at this point with this.
Oh yeah.
That's unbelievable. All right, so damage, which is doubled. So it's going to be the same thing that I did last time with it. Oh, that's 10 points to it. Is that going to do it? What's it on? Yes! Number for number, 10 hit points will remove said Alchemy
That
Giant Leech.
is
As I think this wind is going to look insane, man. So, the Raven caws at exactly the right minute, and as the Raven caws, this flower comes out of its beak, gets borne upon the wind, and just opens in a flourish of beauty as it sort of sweeps across, and it sort of sweeps right into the creature, and it covers its mouth as wind catapults it, and just it gets swallowed, and then you see the creature going bloop 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 splat.
beautiful. That's awesome.
Wow. Oh, there's that one
Right.
point changed everything. Cool. So, with all of that said and done, we just have a quagmire to deal with. And so we are technically still in initiative. We just have to get to the other side. So it'll just be a matter of time. We're not really in danger unless we start to drown, and Skewer's nearly on the other side. So as soon as he's on the other side, I think we can safely say that with ropes and stuff that we can help each other through. But let's keep going with it and until he is definitely on the other side. So Peter is struggling against the weight of the water here, mud here. Seem to be able to swim his way out right now. He could try again. He has 3 actions. But each one is going to sap his energy and harder than the last.
Yep.
But given that you rolled so low, I mean, I don't think it's worth 3 tries, but I do think it may be worth 2.
Yep. We'll try it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You'll actually swim up to the surface and be free.
So what is the jump rules? I haven't done that. It's athletics check, right?
Yeah, and at this point, let's see, I think it's just move. Deep. Take a short,
Just leap.
horizontal, vertical leap. It's a move. You just need a without checks, you can go 10 feet horizontally, or if your speed is at least 15 feet, 15 feet horizontally. He can go 15 feet without a check, or he can make a check, which has no penalty at the moment because it doesn't have the attack trait, to potentially go further.
Okay. And what's the check?
So
I'm
jumping
like looking at
again,
it now.
athletics.
Check it.
Well, it'll just be the DC. It'll just be the Quagmire. We'll just set it at the Quagmire DC of 17.
Okay. Please.
Oh yeah.
Hey. So that means he
at
leaps
least 15 feet or up to 15. Horizontally, jumping a greater distance. So we're gonna take him.
So he's just trying to leap as far as he can across this muck.
Yeah, I think he can make it.
I wish I had the extra actions. I would have grabbed Marigold and Thurbold.
So Peter leaps across to the other rock, and he's on stable ground, but he still has to make his way to the trees if he wants to help people. Although he could act as an anchor himself, but dangerous.
Yep.
Thurbold?
Thurbold sees stones and decides maybe it'd be good to do acrobatics and, do the somersaults in the air and stuff to kind of go across the water. You know what I mean?
So what do you think? If he passes a 17 acrobatics, he can kind of jump from stone to stone or not?
Sir, taking damage? No.
Hmm?
He doesn't take damage.
No. I said if he passes an acrobatics check,
Yeah,
do you
he
think
can
it
jump.
makes sense that you can like
Can jump to
jump the
there.
stones?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Ooh. Yes. So he's just going to be like jumping across the stones.
I do not want to touch the water. I'm going to step on the stones and jump off.
I mean,
What do you mean?
technically, jumping is athletics. We can say whatever. It's up to you.
Well, actually, let's do this. He runs to here and springs off this rock over to here.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's basically just
Grabs an edge and pulls himself
yeah.
up. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, sounds good. With that, the Quagmire will pull down Skewer, who's the only one in the water currently. He's just down to his knees, which he doesn't need anything to get himself out because it's just his knees. So he can move to here and then tie himself off. And then help the others. So I think with multiples of a safe and with the ability to throw ropes and secure ropes, I think that gets us through this particular situation.
Yeah, what I was thinking is what Peter would do is actually jump back over and get Marigold and go the stone route, jumping. But yeah,
Sounds fair.
we can either take an extra, 6 rolls or more, just trying to make it happen, or we can just call it there since it's 90% complete.
I think it makes sense. All right. And then
I'm with you.
on the other side, we're going to make some medicine checks to try and help Skewer out here because he is not looking particularly healthy right now. He's the only one that took damage, though.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
So at the end of that, Peter's rocks will die down and his crumble off him. Realistically, I don't think he'd be walking around with the armor on all the time.
We're just not rolling very well.
No.
Does anyone of yours have medicine?
Thurbold. And I was about to have him do likewise. But he's not as good as Marigold. But
Oh.
apparently he can still do it if he rolls a 19. So there we go.
Can. So that's 2d8. You get to roll. Marigold is maybe distracted by the fact that her patron just interceded.
Hey,
All right.
woot woot.
Wonderful.
Yes.
All right. Well, this was cool. In harvesting the giant leeches, do we want to make some checks to see how much we understand about whatever was alchemically gorging them? Can we figure that out? We certainly know that
I don't
they
know
are
that
way
that's
bigger than
something.
they should be. So we have
Yeah, I don't know
reason
if
to
that's something
question.
Peter would do or be capable of doing. Thurbold might, but wouldn't touch them unless requested.
Well, I can tell you, dearie, that something seems to be affecting them, but I'm not entirely sure what it is. They are certainly larger than they should be, though.
Peter will offer to try to help, just
Oh,
being who he is. Oh, wow.
apparently he knows. So you tell us, DM, given that you've got the success here, what has alchemically affected these leeches? It can be tied to our already story, or it could be a hint at something that we might discover elsewhere.
So, what exactly does alchemical gorged mean to you? Like,
Well, they've eaten
give me
something.
some narrative of what you think that is. Yeah, eaten something.
Yeah, they've eaten something,
I mean,
and
you could always say they had the potion of enlarge, but that's kind of been done.
let's tune in on a different day of the more of that shenanigans.
Right? Right. Um, so I don't know that we want to go that route. That's why I was like, narratively, like what would you see? Is it just that they overate it? Did it just tasted really good?
I think.
And then I can run with it from there.
Um, let's see. Alchemic.
Does it just mean they ate a lot?
Well, what I'm thinking is let's make it not a man-made substance, or perhaps it's not a man-made substance. Um, uh, Perhaps it's an outcome pollution
Ooh,
from a man-made substance. So
I have a fun idea.
yeah,
It'll play into some of the other things we have.
okay.
It's not man-made, but it's not natural either. It's like, I do not know exactly what this is from, but it seems they have been affected by something that is enhancing their girth and health in life, uh, making them more than the standard thing. There must be some magic somewhere upstream that has tainted them, or maybe they came from something there. But I do think we may need to look into this at another time. Maybe when we have completed our current tasks.
Right, that sounds
So,
mysterious and interesting.
for your notes, sir, since you're being kind helping me with notes, since I have all this chaos going on, and I appreciate your help with that so much, and I'm sorry about the chaos today. What I'm thinking is, based on the fact that we already have a powerful being, possibly Fae, but a powerful being nonetheless, right?
Mhm.
I'm thinking there is a natural glade up there that is in the mountains where it's frosted, but it's a sanctuary. And there is another being there. What type is unknown, but that has their essence basically has seeped into the water some, and these just happen to absorb that and gives them more life. Basically, a lot of creatures are magical creatures, right?
Yep.
So they became magical creatures because of this magical taint in the water. This far downstream, it's diluted enough, but up closer to the source, it changed them.
All right. That sounds
Because that,
wonderful.
that adds fun story and narrative
Oh yeah.
and a point to investigate either with these characters or others later on, right?
Right, and it's not, it's related, but it's not part of
Exactly.
the other stuff, which is
And I
good. We
kind of
like
wanted
that.
to do that. Exactly. It gives us more threads.
Okay, so with that,
See, this is why I like working with you. Thank you.
yeah, it's wonderful. So with that, we I think are going to take a short break, as it is about that time, and
Yep.
continue our journey north in about 5-10 minutes. So for those that are watching, make sure you grab a drink, bite to eat, everything that you need. Give yourself a pat on the back, give yourself a nice stretch, all of those sorts of things. And we will be back with the second half of this session very soon.
See you soon.
Hello, folks. We are back. Hope you enjoyed your little break and got some well needed and deserved food, drink, rest, stretch, all those things. I'm going to be consuming my food as we play and such, but it is what it is. We have just come across the river and are traveling north.
Yes.
And given that we're right on the edge of the forest, we can have our lunch here. And we know that to get through the forest, typically, can, depending on, how much stuff you have to carry and things like that, can take, I reckon, somewhere between, what do you think, maybe 2.5 to 5 hours, depending, something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, Skewer will have his pike in hand as we approach the forest. We know that this particular forest is not hugely dangerous. It's not something that people talk about and have scary stories about, but occasionally,
It's not where Skewer's from.
okay, yeah, right. Occasionally, things can happen. So he is being alert, and as are the rest of the party as we travel through the forest. Do you have anything interesting that you would like to have happen to us while we're in the forest? Does anyone in the chat have anything interesting that they would like to have happen to us while we are traversing through the forest?
Actually, on that, we need to think of some good redeems for this for people to use. Like we can have add a story point or something like that where they can add a narrative beat to what's currently happening, like alter the scene. That's probably a better name for it.
Scene.
So I think it'd be fun to come up with some redeems that we can get chat involved with the story directly. So if chat and Matt, you as well, if you guys can think of some fun redeems for us to consider, please shoot them over to us, Discord or Twitch PM. Just message us and let us know some fun redeem ideas because we want to give you guys some more fun interactions with the game and
I
the setting.
kind of like the idea, just as you're talking about that, something like this or this. Make it better or make it worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, so that they can be like, well, we're going to contribute in a positive way, or are we going to, like, well, it's both of them are positive, but one of them helps the party and one of them hinders it.
Yeah.
Both positive
So
because narrative
probably do it like
is the winner in the
things
end.
take a,
A better
right.
story.
Things take a turn for the better. Things take a turn for the worse. The scene is altered. I think it should be another one where they can, like you said, right, add in there's a gnome in the forest, whatever it is.
Something like, look, what's that?
Yeah.
And then they can name, like, they can be like forest creature, or they can be like something like that, or yeah,
Yeah.
could be good.
But yeah, think about it and chat, think about it. We didn't do it yet because and so we held off for a little bit, but we're getting there. I think it'd be good to get some stuff like that. So, by the way, Matt, quick level setting with you on this. Do you like the tiles and being able to just slap the stuff down for quick mats? Because is that working out for you? Do you
Mhm.
think we need to look at changing stuff up? How you feeling?
I don't think it takes very long. Like it might have taken me what a minute or two to set that up, something like that. I don't think
Yeah.
it. I think it's fine. Um,
Okay.
I think if we were
There's
gonna
some.
do something like, uh, I think we should prepare things that are central to the bigger plot. So these
Yes.
random things I think are fine to have like this. But for example, setting up what the village that we're going to is experiencing, or where people are, or something like that. That's like a central story thing. I think should have a map that we've either found on the internet
Yeah.
or made beforehand or whatever,
I'm
to
going to be working on some
represent
of that
that
too
those
for this.
are more significant things. Like the if these frost cultists have a base, I think that that shouldn't be generated
No.
by us on the
Yeah.
fly. I think that that should be found and populated between sessions.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't disagree. That's kind of what I was thinking. I haven't gotten to those yet based on chaos of life. Yes, that is the plan, is for big sets like that to actually have a
Well, I've
set.
got
But
pretty
for the
decent
traveling,
repositories of maps. Like I'm not
okay.
not in hundreds or thousands, but I've got a fairly decent sub like section, and we can
Okay.
always go and find more. So
Yeah. Um, I thought about adding in Kingmaker since I have that, so we have some more. Um,
strongly recommend against.
okay. Um, but yeah, if you want to add yours, we can do that. We can add some other ones. I definitely want to get that where we have those set areas better.
Yeah.
I was looking at trying to get some bigger things built, and there's some other tools I want to get figured out and used on here to help make things better as well. But time has not been my friend. Neither
So
has sleep. And I was thinking about doing it today instead of what I did stream, but without having a clear mind and the other things I had to work on today, I was not in a good mind space to be capable of doing that. But I am planning what you're talking about.
sounds good.
So,
All right. So do we think like a good amount has happened to our characters in a fairly short amount of time? I think that
yeah.
that's probably enough for the characters for a little bit, because otherwise it's gonna feel to them like, oh my gosh, like things are totally cray
Okay.
cray.
So last night we got attacked. Then we had weather issues. Then we got snitched by magic leeches in the pool. It's not even 20 been accosted this many times.
Yeah, I think that this is probably enough. So let's say
Yeah,
that our journey through the forest, apart from seeing, actually, how about we do this? How about we make some hunting checks, because there are some little hunting wildlife that we can go and hunt to help us with our food for the night. And
yeah.
maybe make like a survival check each, or some sort of like gathering things check that's not
Survival
dangerous.
is common.
We are just gathering things through this forest. Yeah, I think survival makes sense. So, skewer. I think I will roll nature for my. Okay. Sweet. Some good stuff there. So we gather some things.
Thurbold and Peter apparently don't.
Perhaps they are assigned to watch duty, keeping us safe while the others are gathering. I imagined that Thurbol's like, I'm not going in there.
Nope, Thurbold's not paying attention either. Peter's probably working on, hauling the stuff, keeping the gear, things like that makes sense.
Thurbol's just flicking his coin as he's walking, just like chink, heads, chink,
And then shuffling
heads,
cards.
chink,
Yeah.
tails, chink, finding the odds.
Yeah.
I wonder if I shave a little bit off, can I alter the odds in my favor?
Yeah.
I think maybe that should be done.
We all know he's a very legit individual.
Thurbold always knows how to get what is needed, you know? It's always good.
So we emerged from the
And very
forest
friendly.
like 3.5 hours later, having gathered some things and have an area of grassland between here and the forest where our middle village, we're gonna call it, is situated. And so we can see the path, but
One.
Hmm?
It's just Minor Village 1.
Minor Village 1. Yeah, and we have the river on our left. We're in no risk of getting lost. And we know that it's probably going to take us to close to dusk to get to even just the border of the forest that is going to be where the village is. But we definitely will not make it to the village by nightfall. Definitely are not going to make it through the forest by nightfall. In fact, we will hit the forest, get to the forest around nightfall. So we probably don't want to go in there.
Right.
And so we need to locate a good place to camp, I guess.
I believe that's a survival.
So,
I think that's what Pathfinder said you use for that.
yeah, I think so. See what that goes. Depending how this goes, will depend how well we are protected from the elements and potential roaming dangers. As makes sense, Marigold is not really good at finding shelter when it is not in a settlement, because that's where she spent all of her life. Delivering children, not out in the elements.
Here you go. We're moving up to the forest.
Oh.
I do like how we can just slap them down and keep the scene going.
Oof. Oh, we might be getting some narrative moments here. Q is the best at 17, which technically at this level is a success, just barely.
Yep. I have a narrative suggestion.
Right?
We have to roll an athletics check for Thurbold and Skewer, as Peter's not able to help them gather firewood because he is using his base kinesis to shape stone to give them an area to camp.
Because
So
we
it's a
just weren't
success
really able to.
because exactly, there's no good area to pitch the tent because there's too much debris and everything. but he's able to find a stone surface, but he can't do anything with stone. And so they need to do athletics or fort save, something to indicate their collection of other, the wood for the fire and whatnot. Thurbold's not making very good progress, so yeah. Narratively, what does that mean, do you think? Does that mean we don't have enough wood for the night? We're gonna have to ration it more, so it's gonna be colder.
I don't think it makes sense that there's not enough wood, because we're right on the edge of a
Dry wood,
forest.
burnable wood,
Um,
able to be collected
what
before
about
nightfall.
this? Yeah, what about this? What do you think of that? There's been some steady but condensation, not exactly rain throughout today, but like just that hazy
Misting,
mist,
drizzle. Yeah.
and the wood is all green, and we gather it and we set it up, but it's smoky for the whole night.
Fort save to rest well.
Yeah, and we do have a plus to that because of our meal
Yep.
from the previous day. So
Meal.
that's a
Yep.
great opportunity to do that. So yes, fort saves.
And make sure you add the +1. I don't think it adds it.
No.
Oh, it does. If you click on the thing, you can just toggle it on and it gives you the +1. Hearty meal, critical success. You can click that and it will add it.
Boo.
What a surprise. Peter doesn't have a problem. This is just smoke. It's normal what you have in fort. It's okay.
And
It's no problem.
Marigold fends it off expertly. Skewer is having a
Hey.
hard time.
So I think Skewer doesn't sleep as well, probably from it.
We're gonna make him fatigued. But first, before we
Here
make
he
him fatigued,
is.
yeah, let's have a rest. Make sure that
Yep.
we're fully refreshed. So
Everyone
rest
gets
for the
a rest for
night.
the night.
The night. And then we're gonna at the end of the
When we're
day
at camp, do we want to
gonna
treat wounds
yeah,
on Skewer?
I'm gonna do that, yep. So we're gonna get him a little bit more health. Oh, 248. Yeah, that'll work.
What?
Roll. I mistyped. 2d8, not 248. Thank you.
Oh, there we go.
6.
Hey, Thurble succeeded. Hey.
Heal. Yeah, he is fine. But he is not wounded anymore. We don't have our hearty meal anymore.
Did Marigold want to try to make one for tonight?
Yeah, I will. Let's do that before we take it, I suppose.
Well, she might want to do a different meal.
I don't really have.
Okay.
We can look at that, and I haven't had time to look at all of the things. So we'll just do standard. That is not even enough. We do not get the effect. So the smoke just gets into the meal, and it's just barely like edible. We eat it, it fills us up, but that's about it.
Yep.
Brilliant. And Skewer going to have fatigued. And everyone else is going to be alright. He's not having an especially great
Yep.
trip here.
No, he's not. The poor guy gets taken out by leeches, gets hammered by all the things, gets.
So, in our journal,
He's going to retire from adventuring after this. I was an adventurer once. Then I took a leech to the chest.
we get through the forest without event, but there is steady drizzle and haze all day, making the wood we gather green and damp. This fills the camp with smoke, ruins our meal, and tires Skewer out. Yep, so next day. Nothing untoward happens. We each have our watches. Do you want to narrate anything unusual that's not an encounter or anything that happens during the night, or is it mostly just peaceful?
Let's find out. Nope, it's peaceful. When in doubt, I let the dice do the talking. It's almost like this is a role-playing game where you roll the dice.
Yep, so it's a peaceful night. Wake up the next day, and we have a forest ahead of us. We know that this forest is
Sure.
significantly bigger than the previous one. It'll take most
Yep.
of the day to get through it, to get to that little village. And it looks like the path has been overgrown some. Whoa, what is this?
Oh, me just rolling. Okay. Uneventful day, apparently. Unless you want something to happen.
No. We can have an uneventful day in the forest.
I'll be implementing a roll table later on for us to be able to have this. I found some fun rules I like that I've been using for my other home game. I just haven't had the time to put it in here yet.
Yeah, it's fine. Our trek through the forest on the way to. And given that we're now at that point, let's look at a name generator for a town.
Yes, let me have here. Where was the one I had? Edontion. Ooh, out. That's too bright.
Falkirk.
I'm gonna use the other one because that's hurting my eyes.
Irefield, Bulmer. What do you think? It's not in here, but what do you think about naming it Riverwatch? Since we're on a river. Close by, sort of. Or maybe.
Sure. It's fine.
I guess it's not that.
Or generate a name of a person.
Name it after the person?
Yeah, because then that gives us something, another lead to look at. Like, who was this person that it's named after? Why was it named after them? Why did they set up here?
Alright.
I like the idea of watch, right? Because it's a watch post kind of thing, right? Hamlet. But what's a good, like, hero or setup name like that. What's up?
Oh, I'm just generating names and amused by them. Um, I like the idea that maybe this isn't like an elven name.
Yeah, something more exotic. Like, who was this person?
Ah, all right. I have my first pitch here. There's a name that's very much like another name that could hint at something that we might explore at, and it's
Oh,
spelt
I
like
like that.
this. Um, it's L doing.
Sure.
And there might be some potential story hooks with that name that this elf might
Do
have.
it that way to make it more,
Yeah, okay. Elduin's
ma-
Watch.
just to a little bit more obfuscation from the.
All right, I
I
like
mean,
it. Elduin. Right. Sweet. Yeah, so this is an elf. We know it's an elven hero. Beyond that, we don't know much at this stage.
sounds good.
Cool. So yes, we make our way to
It's
Elduin's
yours,
Watch.
Grandpa.
No. No relation. Third cousin on my grandma's side.
Does Skewer even know the name? Okay.
He spent most of his life in, well, his adult life in the military.
Yeah. So we
All right,
come
so
out
we
of the
make it to
forest
Elduin's Watch.
probably at nightfall, and we get to
Yes.
Elduin's Watch. Yeah. Hey, Viking Silverwolf, how's it going?
Hey, Silver.
So we come out. What does this village look like that has elven influence?
Well, it's on the edge of a forest, right? Why don't we just do the archetypical thing and have a big old tree that has like multiple levels on it? Or
Do we want to do
maybe
that, or do you want to do it differently because you also said that it had the mining to it?
yeah. Um well, what about we make this edge of the forest be a totally different type of forest? Let's imagine this be a very fungal edge to this forest, kind of almost Morrowindish, where the trees are not trees, they are mushrooms, and that they lead into or they come out of the hills, like, and the elves have basically harvested them once upon a time and then tended to them and grown them and magically altered them until they were big enough to, or something like this. Maybe just naturally occurring. I'm not sure, but I like the idea that it's not just a normal forest. And we've got like underground plants that sort of flow out into area. Other ideas are open. Like, was my first idea.
Ooh. Now, you know how fungus works, or like real talk, right? IRL. Like, do you know how fungus works?
I mean, not particularly.
It grows off of decomposing other things. It breaks other life matter down.
And maybe
What
there's a
if
battlefield.
the reason it's called Elduin's Watch is Elduin fought a large creature here,
Ah,
and upon its death, the magical creature provided essence. And there is a fungal type that sprouts underground where the body decomposed, but they now grow up and have it's all connected as one big fungal node.
okay.
And so the whole area is a hub of one plant, technically. And so if it starts suffering, the whole area just like starts suffering, right? So they take care to not agitate the cycle because it provides shelter and protection.
I like it. I like it. And it gives flavor to this forest. That's not just like,
Yeah.
it's not just another forest. There's this whole section. Yeah, there are normal trees to the south where we've come through, but then after a certain amount of time, it's changed due to this ancient battlefield between Alduin and whatever this creature was that has um, led essence into the ground and caused a fungal forest to grow.
I like the idea that the fungus tried to naturally grow, right? Because it was decomposing whatever this creature was he slew. But because it was a mythical creature, magical creature, it changed the plants as they grew, and it grew up from there as what it is now. So it's a partially natural, partially magically mutated, partially then like druid groomed area. Because it makes it interesting that it was a mistake that then was worked on to enhance for the betterment of people. And that's going to lead into later when we add the other aspect I mentioned. This area is then what is that going to do when someone comes in with something else? Right? Like this whole town is going to be very much stay out of here with that.
Yeah, yeah, like
Please move on. You can stay here tonight, but you're gone tomorrow.
yeah,
I don't care.
yeah. Maybe that's why they're not involved in the council. Like they're a little bit insular.
You know what I'm referring to, right?
I do.
Kind of like the other thing I said later on. Yeah. I like that because it's gonna give a valid reason why they're that way instead of just, oh well, it's not our style. No. It's a valid reason. It is their way of life. It is their very existence that gets threatened if they allow it. Because its very existence of these fungal growths that defend them is magical in nature.
Okay.
So you bring someone in that has the other, it's going to make the magic wane, which is literally going to weaken your home. Maybe your house then starts having a leaky roof now because you let someone with that stay in your home, right?
Mhm.
That's going to make you really think about if you're going to be that nice to someone or not.
Right.
I like that.
Sounds good to me. So this is where they
'Cause-
stay the night.
Yep.
People are like, make sure you pay proper money at the inn and please stay indoors. And when morning comes, please make your way as soon as possible.
Oh well, we issue that I was mentioning, right? Because we haven't really introduced that dichotomy yet. So they would be fine. The town would be fine with us right now because we don't have any of the magic weakening with us.
Okay.
So I think they would be okay with us right now. But I'm saying, like, for future reference, that could be an issue.
Okay.
Because I mean, Marigold's kind of the opposite. She enhances the magical essence. So they're like, hey, you're great. Hey, Angel, how's it going?
All right. Sounds good. So they welcome us. And we rest the night in the inn.
Sounds good.
And make it to the
Do they have
next
an
day.
inn, or do they just do the hospitality thing of you stay with people's homes?
What do you think?
I almost think the hospitality thing sounds better, that there's not an actual inn,
A very
because it makes it
unusual
a smaller
community.
hamlet. Yeah. They're not used to travelers. So they'll be hospitable, but they don't actually have like an inn and these larger village functions.
Well, maybe they have
I like that.
like not an amphitheater, but like an open space where stuff like that can happen, where performances or
Yeah.
theatrics
Yeah.
or entertainment can happen, but it's not really enclosed. Like that idea.
Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
All right.
See, man, I love doing this with you because you help. We just bounce ideas back and make them better.
Cool. So we are 3 hours in. We don't want to go too crazy with our last
Nope.
hour. And we've already said that our characters have experienced a lot. Maybe they stay here a little while. Maybe they head off straight away. Maybe there's word tell of maybe there's someone here from the other village. Who knows? Like, what do we think can happen here that
Sorry, the dog just made a loud noise, which means he may have woken up one or more kids. And I'm just makes my stomach.
um okay. So maybe what do we think about the idea that we heighten the stakes here? How we might do that.
Sure.
This town received a call for help from Sylveza not so long ago. And they sent a small group of people who have not returned.
They sent hunters because hunters would be the most warrior like. And they need their hunters back or they're going to be in trouble too.
I
So that's
that they can
the
get
issue
involved.
for our team.
So
Now, the person from Soveza, this is for chat. The person from Soveza, did they come injured or did they return with the hunters? And if they came injured, did they survive or did they die?
there you go, chat. Here's some the chance to contribute to the growing story here. So our situation is we've made it to Elderwin's Watch, and they have us They take care of us overnight, and we discover that a short time ago they received word that uh, Sylvester was in trouble, and they gathered some hunters and sent them off, and those hunters have not returned. Did the messenger from Sylvester survive? Were they injured? Are they still here? Did they die? Did they return with the other hunters? And are therefore missing?
Lady, Angel, Silver Wolf. See, the three of you have been chatting recently. What do you guys think? One for injured.
I like it.
Okay.
Eldon watch gather a small host hunters,
So that's it.
sent them north, but they have not been seen, heard
Ow.
from since.
Right. I hate when the screen flashes red.
Has this messenger from Sylvester survived? They came in injured. They weren't able to assist with the hunters. Did they die here, or have they survived and can tell us what happened, what they were told to pass on?
There's a name for you, for the person. Survived? Okay. So let's do this. I'm going to have Mary Gold because she's our medicine. Roll a medicine check
Okay.
to see how well this town treated the person. Ooh,
Wow.
good. They are stable. So Vals is stable, but not able to travel because of the injury. So they're held up here in town, and our people can choose to go speak with him if they want to try to get intel about what happened.
Yeah, and I think that like that intel and those discoveries through Val can be our starting to wind down the session.
Yep,
In order to open us up for some good information for next time. What do you think about that?
exactly. That lays out our plan, our route going forward, and what to expect and where to go.
Perfect. All right, so chat, if
Yeah.
you want to have any details about anything in um, Val's report to us, feel free to put ideas in the chat about what might be in that report, and we will consider it as we shape this narrative together.
And for anyone who missed, this is a new custom setting. This is Matt and I pulling stuff out of our brains and making it up. We are creating a new setting. I had some ideas. I invited Matt to come along on this crazy journey with me to create this new setting. Cruel Fang.
Hello, Crawfang. Are you gonna
Tell that
complicate
to Cruel
matters?
He's going to say that foxes attack the village.
Or that Val's soft horn isn't Val's soft horn at all. He is Val's soft bang. And he is actually a fox person. uh, yeah, so A werefox? Oh my lord. I mean, we could have that. It makes sense that he hasn't recovered and he might have a curse. Like we don't know. The full moon hasn't happened yet. I don't hate it. DM, what do you think?
I'm thinking.
Or maybe Vel's knows, and maybe they have a family with a long history of this, and they have trained their family and their lineage
No,
to such a point that they can control the curse to some degree, and they become guardians of the forest or
no.
something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the reason Sovesa is good hunters, the reason they can handle the cold climates, the reason they are somewhat more remote and away from the other clans is Sovesa is a were clan.
Oh, hey.
And unbeknownst to us, and so they've been keeping that a secret. And so, unless we get really good rolls with our friend Valis here, we're not going to know that.
Interesting. I
And the
like it.
problem is that the cult of the eternal frost has been messing with things, making it where they cannot control their change as much. And so they're having a harder time collecting food for winter because they're having a hard time not just remaining in like a bestial rage. So unless the problem's dealt with, they may all lose themselves completely to the beast within, because that really complicates things.
Okay.
So werewolves, werefoxes, werecats, werebears, right? All the furry were creatures, which is why they can survive and hunt in the winter up there, is because they have the big woolly coats. But then they also, in the coldest part of winter, stay inside with the fires.
Okay, so Sylvester is unbeknownst to us. Okay. Well, we has a story here, folks.
That's why I paused and was thinking for a bit. I'm like, how would that work? How would that work? What would that mean?
Yeah, so Sylvester has been holding this secret. They have kept things relatively civil and controlled for a long time, and so this secret hasn't gotten out
Right.
until this winter cult has arrived, started stirring nonsense up, and it's gotten harder and harder to control the change, harder and harder to contain because of what the Eternal Frost cult has been doing. They um, have some issue, maybe even beyond this, sent Val's Softhorn to the nearby village um, to Elderwin's Watch to try and get some help. Uh, Val's Softhorn was injured on the way and arrived half dead in Elderwin's Watch. Fortunately for us and for Vels, the fine people of Elderwin's Watch were able to tend to Vels's wounds, but not all of them. Something has not cured, something has not healed, and they're not sure how to sort it out, but the have bound his wounds, have sorted him out for the most part, and but
Mhm.
he is unable to travel. And this and we don't know, our characters don't know any of these things outside of the
The
fact
Fair
that
Lady, rest well.
Bells has arrived to declare that they needed help, that the
Yep.
hunters have not come.
Now, here's an interesting thought. What if the cult is using their bestial form so that they have a harder time not attacking their family and friends, but at the same time is starting to put pressure on them and launch guerrilla attacks on the town as well? So they're having to deal with trying to defend from inside and outside. And so they want help defending themselves from the skirmish attacks and stuff, but also are trying to still keep their secret. But it's going to be really hard the more people that show up.
I think that that's certainly something that we could entertain the idea of once we get closer to it.
The only reason I'm mentioning it is it could be something potentially that he could tell us, or she. I guess we didn't give him a Velas agenda.
What do you think, chat? Is
That's the only reason I'm trying to figure.
Val's a female presenting character or a
Real
male
soft one.
presenting character?
Is Velas Softhorn male or female?
Silver says he.
He.
Brulfang says he. Okay.
Two he's.
It is
Cool.
a male presenting. Cool. Sweet. So, what information does Val's share with the group? Do we need to make some make an impression checks first to
I would
see?
think so.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, he's going to tell us they need help. But I don't
Alright.
think he's necessarily willing to divulge all the secrets without
And
that.
here is our first chance for Peter because he does not have diplomacy, but he does have a feature that we said that essentially he can offer to help and roll his
Labor.
labor,
Or community service. Community
community
service is what we said.
service, to make an impression. So that could be something that comes up here as part of all of this. So otherwise, we're going to be rolling diplomacy. So here we go. So
So
Marigold.
who do we want to present as our spokesperson?
Interesting,
To him?
interesting, because I'm not sure. Because we haven't really had a chance to sort out any of that, because we haven't.
So I was thinking it wouldn't make sense for us to all get a role, right? Because if we all go in there together, which would make sense that we would do, he would see one of us as the leader, whether we intended it or not. And that would be the one that he would react to most, thereby either speaking or not speaking.
All right. So why don't we make some different decisions then, slightly, to just flavor things a little bit more, so that we get to keep this in a very sensical order. What I'm thinking is, um, town or community governorship changes depending on your how you rule, right? So there are
Right.
meritocracies, there are oligarchies, there are whatever else, right? So if we imagine that for Suveza, it is a pack led by an alpha mentality, which makes sense for them being a were clan.
Yep.
Um, that uh, that he, Bells, might be looking for the one that he, Val, considers to be the strongest and most alpha of us, because that's the power
That would
structure
make
that he
sense.
knows.
I could see that. So who would be the most alpha? I could see Peter being because of his size,
Yeah, he's huge.
but he's also the gentle giant. So would he be considered the alpha, or would he be considered not the alpha? I'm good
Interesting.
either way. This is me dialoguing with you. Because the alpha isn't necessarily the biggest brute of the lot.
No.
It's the most intelligent and leader of the group.
Okay.
If you look at like dog sleds as well, right? They have an alpha who is the pack, who's the head of the sled, who has to be the smart one of the dog sled. It's the same thing with wolves and packs. They have to be skilled warrior, but that doesn't mean they're the biggest and toughest warrior.
It's an interesting group for
They have
this
to be
discussion
intelligent.
because
It
none of us
is.
really fit the archetypical leader type very well.
It's the thing. Like
Personality
Marigold has
wise.
the age.
He does.
Skewer has the martial prowess presentation. Thurbold has the were creature acumen kind of look to him, and the social graces and whatnot.
Hmm.
And Peter has the size and robustness, right?
Right. Well, maybe our checks can represent that, right? Maybe we make
Let's see that.
maybe we make checks not to do the make an impression yet, but to see how he sees us, and then based on how he sees us, whoever gets the highest roll or however we want to establish it, that's the one that then makes the make an impression check.
Sure. So basically, let's do athletics check for Peter for how big and
Yeah,
athletic, right?
yeah,
Alpha presentation he is.
yeah. And I'm gonna do maybe society for Marigold because
Yeah.
she's just a midwife, right? So like knowing people, how things work, who
Yep.
to refer to is her stuff. I think I'll roll that. Lord,
And
okay.
deception for Thurbold.
Thurbold is right up there, and Skewer is probably athletics too, I'm guessing.
Athletics, fortitude,
Oh my lord. Well, it looks
warfare.
like Thurbold is the one that Vals is deferring to right now. So,
Yep.
Thurbold.
Thurbold shall talk to the
Oh my
man.
god. Hero point!
I'm gonna hero
Hero
point
point!
that.
Hero point!
I'm absolutely gonna hero point that. We need this.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. With a 13, I don't think they're going to tell us much.
We can pick one person to try to aid, and that will either make us pass or fail. That's the only thing I can think of that would make this any different. Because we all are there. I would see an aid being part of it.
And it's a diplomacy check?
Diplomacy or some sort of support skill to the diplomatic talk with him. So either we can do Peter's +4 community service.
That'd.
We could do Skewers 4 intimidation or
Yeah.
3 warfare.
Yeah. And then Marigold has a few things that could possibly work. Well,
Mm-hmm.
but knowledge is,
Occultism I could actually see working.
I think.
Because if he mentions there's weird things going on during his talk,
Yeah, I see that.
I could see that working.
All right. Shall we go with that and go like we've already because they've been harrowed like on
Yeah.
their trip here. So she's like weird shit's going on. So we've got a 13 plus if this succeeds DC 15. It does. It's a
Oh,
critical success, which means that that comes up to being a success to our class,
yeah.
to our level, just barely, just because
Yep.
that's a +4. Wow,
Oh man,
we're
that was so
scraping
close.
this through, man. This is like so. I don't think he's gonna tell us everything, but he will say something because of
I think
Thurbol's diplomacy
right. I
coupled
think he
with
tells us that they're under attack and they're being accosted by the cult. And that's how he got his injury. And that's why he came for help. But I don't think he tells us anything about the were creatures
oh
or
no,
anything.
no, that would be a critical
When we
success.
get there, they tell us we have to be inside during the night. So we are going, since we don't know about it, we're going to be required to be inside during the night by these people.
So he's
And they're
willing to
going
tell us
to
that.
try
That's
to
really good information, actually.
yeah. Well, because he does want help, right? He it's in his interest to get us there to get help,
Mhm. Wow.
but he
This
doesn't
is
want to divulge the secrets,
yeah.
right? So he's telling us, yes, we need help. We're being attacked by the cult. You're not allowed outside at night because they're so dangerous with their activity. But it's not their activity per se. It's actually the other. We don't know that. Just GMs and viewers get to know. The activity at night is the were creatures
Yeah.
uncontrolled, but the characters know they're under attack by the cultists. They need help. It's causing problems, and we can't be outside at night. So he's going to go ahead and tell them, "Don't be outside at night. We need help.
Okay.
The cultists are attacking." So those are the basic info that our party knows.
Yeah. And they steel themselves to march at first light, given that we know that the town is under attack actively. We
Mhm.
steel themselves, which is a beautiful launching point for next week,
Yep.
folks.
As we march into the tundra.
Yes, to try and save Sylvetsa from the attacks of this cult and all of the other shenanigans that we.
The cult of the eternal frost
All right.
attacks my home, my people, my family. Please help them. Just be warned. Do not be outside at night.
Perfect. Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this session. It's been great to be here with DM Nix. Thank you, DM Nix, for involving me and including me and doing this together. This is pretty exciting and interesting and fun. And people at home seem to be really enjoying it. People that are watching seem to be
Yeah.
really enjoying it. And we are building your world and making it, I don't know, probably different to what you expected, but we're expanding it and growing it
Yeah, some.
every session. So we're gonna head off. I'm gonna find someone to raid out to. So bear with us while I get us to the Be Right Back screen. Please look after yourselves, everyone. Take care. Be kind to yourselves. And be good to each other. My name's Matt Nahat. And until next time. Oh.